Malika stood by the family hearth, the air heavy with tension and the sound of arguments echoing through the house. Her two children quarreled over trivial matters, each trying to outshout the other in their frustration. Their disputes ranged from trivial arguments to heartfelt clashes, leaving their once harmonious household shrouded in painful discord. One fateful day, their heated argument reached its peak, concerning the rightful division of their shared inheritance. Each voice blended into a cacophony, leaving Malika struggling to find solace in her own thoughts. Desperate for peace, she stepped outside, the soft breeze calming her turbulent emotions for a moment. Her feet led her to the outskirts of Vaishali, where the Buddha was said to be teaching that day. She approached him slowly, her heart a mixture of hope and fear, her steps uncertain. Beneath the shade of the Bodhi tree, the Buddha sat in serene meditation, his calm radiating outwards. Malika bowed deeply, her voice quivering as she tried to convey her family's struggles. "Lord Buddha, my home is drowning in chaos," each voice louder than the next, drowning out any possibility of peace. The Buddha opened his eyes gently, his gaze calm and unshaken, and he gestured for Malika to sit beside him. "Malika," he began, his voice soft yet resonant, "peace is not found in silence alone. It must be cultivated within one's heart." Malika nodded, her eyes moist with emotion, eager for wisdom to relieve the burden of her family's disharmony. "But how, Lord Buddha?" she implored, her voice barely above a whisper. "How does one cultivate peace in such relentless noise?" Buddha paused for a moment, letting the wind carry the weight of her question before he answered. "Peace begins with understanding," he said. "When a bird finds its nest disturbed, does it not rebuild patiently, without anger or despair?" Malika listened closely, her mind clinging to the simplicity yet profundity of his metaphor, seeking its application in her life. "Tell me, Malika," he continued, "when a tree loses its branches to a storm, does it not grow again, reaching toward the sun?" "Yes, Lord Buddha," she replied softly, her heart beginning to grasp the depth of his teachings. "Like seeds taking root, your home, like the tree, must be nurtured to grow in harmony. Neglect and anger only feed the storm," Buddha said. "Begin by listening to your family, not just with your ears, but with your heart, seeking to understand their pain." Malika felt the seed of hope planted in her, a quiet determination to create peace amidst the chaos of her home. She bowed deeply, her heart lighter than before, filled with clarity and purpose to follow the Buddha's guidance. Returning home, Malika found her family engaged in another argument, their voices sharp and cutting through the fragile calm. She chose not to intervene with anger but instead began listening deeply, observing their words and feelings. Their differences vanish, revealing unity unseen, anchoring them to the earth's nurturing strength despite storms' upheaval. Families nodded, their understanding deepened as Buddha's gentle narrative illuminated the fragile yet enduring bonds of kinship. Her mother-in-law's complaints revealed a fear of being forgotten, a plea for recognition amidst the clamor of the household. Each moment spent listening brought Malika closer to understanding the storm of emotions driving her family's discord. Her silence was not passive, it was active, a reflection of her resolve to transform noise into harmony. Days turned into weeks, and Malika continued her quiet practice, her heart slowly learning to absorb the chaos around her. Villagers watched intently as Ashin extended his hand to Nanda, his gesture unspoken yet profound in its reconciliation. Nanda clasped his brother's hand, the grip firm yet gentle, embodying their shared resolve to mend fractured family ties. Malika realized that peace was not an instant cure but a gradual journey, each step shaped by patience and understanding. In the evenings, she reflected on Buddha's words, letting their wisdom guide her actions and strengthen her resolve. She knew the path to harmony required not just silence but a deep compassion to mend the fractures within her family. With each day, she felt the first sprout of peace grow stronger in her heart, ready to extend its roots into her home. Another day, another moment dawned as the brothers sat beneath the banyan tree, reflecting on their previous quarrel. Peace filled the morning air, yet unspoken tensions lingered between them, like shadows of their past discord. Yet, despite her efforts, Malika felt the weight of unresolved tension lingering in the air. Incomplete and fragile, seeking clarity, she ventured again to the Bodhi tree, where the Buddha often rested, his presence a beacon of peace. His gaze fell upon the brothers, whose spirits yearned for understanding, seeking guidance from the enlightened one's boundless wisdom. Buddha seated himself gracefully beneath the tree, his robe flowing gently, blending with the earth's calm hues. Buddha regarded her with serene understanding, allowing her words to settle before offering his guidance with profound calmness. "Malika," he said, "the beginnings of peace are like the first shoots of a plant. They require care and patience." She nodded, remembering her silent acts of listening and understanding, but wondered what more could be done to heal fully. "You have observed their pain and listened with your heart," Buddha continued. "But the work of compassion now begins in earnest. There once grew two mighty oaks in a vast forest, tall and proud, their roots entwined deep beneath the soil. One oak, vigorous and steadfast, believed its strength surpassed all others. Desiring to grow alone, free from constraint, he pointed to the fishermen by the banks, sharing their catches with their families, demonstrating care through humble acts of giving. To truly give, one must offer not material things but the treasures of patience, understanding, kindness, and forgiveness," Buddha explained. "But Lord Buddha, what if my compassion is not reciprocated? What if I am met with indifference or even anger?" Malika asked, her voice tinged with doubt. "Compassion is unconditional," Buddha replied, "like the shade of a tree that shelters all who rest beneath it." Regardless of gratitude, Malika considered his words, feeling both inspired and apprehensive about the immense challenge ahead of her in practicing such compassion. She bowed deeply to Buddha, her heart resolved to carry his teachings into her home, despite the challenges she anticipated. Returning home, she began to show small but significant acts of kindness, even when the environment seemed resistant. When Dira returned from work, his shoulders heavy with exhaustion, she offered words of encouragement instead of silent indifference. Buddha nodded, his expression serene, adding, "True strength lies not in standing apart, but in standing together." Bound by compassion, Nanda, moved by the tale, said, "Even the mighty must learn humility. We, as brothers, must mend what pride has broken." Each act was met with varying responses, sometimes gratitude, sometimes indifference, and occasionally suspicion. But Malika persisted. Her consistent compassion, though unacknowledged by words, began to cast a quiet influence over the household. Dira, for the first time in years, offered to help with the evening chores, surprising himself and his family. The children, seeing their mother's gentleness, grew less quarrelsome and more willing to share their belongings with each other. Malika's mother-in-law began speaking with more tenderness, her complaints giving way to occasional smiles and shared stories. Yet Malika knew that the journey was far from complete, and her resolve deepened with each step forward, however small. One evening, as the family shared a quiet dinner, Malika reflected on the transformation beginning to unfold within their home. The noise, once a constant storm, had quieted, revealing spaces where understanding could take root and flourish. Ahida and Nanda exchanged glances, their eyes revealing a flicker of remorse and longing to repair their fractured bond. "Roots may fracture, but they can heal," Buddha said. The once chaotic household now resonated with moments of calm, understanding, and shared laughter that felt almost foreign before. Malika's silent acts of compassion had transformed the family's dynamics. Yet her heart sought reassurance and guidance. That afternoon, she walked once more to the edge of the village, where Buddha was meditating under the familiar Bodhi tree. She approached quietly, bowing deeply, her face a blend of gratitude and lingering uncertainty, her voice gentle yet earnest. "Lord Buddha," she began, "my family has changed. The noise has quieted, and peace has begun to take root." Buddha opened his eyes, his gaze warm and encouraging, waiting for her to continue with thoughts that weighed on her heart. "But is this peace permanent?" she asked, her tone tinged with doubt. "Will harmony always remain, or is it as fleeting as the seasons?" Buddha smiled softly, gesturing for her to sit, as the rustling leaves filled the silence between them. "Malika," he said, "peace is not a destination you arrive at. It is a journey you must choose every day." She listened intently, her heart absorbing his words. Yet her mind sought clarity on sustaining this newfound harmony. "How do I ensure that this peace endures, Lord Buddha?" she asked, her voice steady, driven by her desire to protect her family's unity. Buddha pointed to the flowing river beside them, its waters calm yet in perpetual motion, an ever-changing yet consistent force. "Just as the river flows, peace must be nurtured constantly," he said. "It requires vigilance, care, and unwavering commitment." Malika nodded slowly, understanding that peace was not something to be taken for granted but something to cultivate daily. "But what if discord returns?" she asked, her voice revealing the deep-seated fear of losing what she had worked so hard to build. Buddha gazed at her compassionately, his calm presence dispelling the fear that clung to her question like a shadow. "Even in the most serene gardens, weeds will grow," he said. "It is the gardener's duty to tend to them with care. Remember, Malika," he continued, "discord is not the enemy but a teacher, guiding us back to the path of understanding." Malika's heart felt lighter, her fear replaced by a resolve to approach challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities. "Thank you, Lord Buddha," she said, bowing deeply, her voice filled with gratitude and clarity, ready to carry his words forward. Returning home, she found her family gathered around the hearth, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the fire. Dheera spoke warmly of his plans for the coming season, his words reflecting a newfound openness and a willingness to share. The children listened attentively, their hands busy crafting small ornaments, their usual quarrels replaced by quiet cooperation. Malika's mother-in-law sat nearby, her gaze affectionate as she shared stories from her past, her voice steady and calm. Malika joined them, her heart swelling with a sense of fulfillment. Yet she reminded herself of Buddha's teachings. She knew that harmony was not guaranteed but must be nurtured through continued acts of kindness, understanding, and patience. The weeks that followed brought moments of joy and occasional tensions. But Malika approached each challenge with renewed determination. When disagreements arose, she listened deeply, mediating with empathy and ensuring every voice was heard without judgment. Her acts of compassion inspired her family to follow suit, each member contributing to the atmosphere of mutual respect and care. Dheera surprised her one evening, preparing a simple yet thoughtful meal, a gesture of gratitude for her unwavering support. Her children began resolving their conflicts more amicably, learning to share and compromise through her gentle guidance. Even her mother-in-law, once quick to criticize, offered words of praise and encouragement that warmed Malika's heart. Malika often reflected on Buddha's metaphor of the river, reminding herself that peace was a continuous journey, not a fixed state. One moonlit night, as the family sat together under the stars, Malika felt a profound sense of unity enveloping them. The laughter of her children mingled with Dira's stories, while her mother-in-law shared fond memories from her younger days. Malika closed her eyes for a moment, letting the sounds of her harmonious family fill her heart with gratitude and contentment. She understood that peace was not the absence of challenges but the presence of love, understanding, and a shared commitment. In her heart, she carried Buddha's teachings like a lantern, guiding her family's journey toward lasting harmony and joy. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.